Ready?
I'm sorry, just, I don't want my phone to ring. Just hold on a second.
I want you to ask yourself, when was the last time you ate meat? Maybe it was today, yesterday, or a week ago. How much do you know about the meat you ate? Was it a natural cow, pig, or chicken that the meat came from? In most cases, the answer is no. According to a Sarah Litchfield from CNN.com, genes of 70 to 75% of food in the US food industry has been modified. Now you might be confused and asking, what do I mean when I say genes have been modified? It is called genetic modification. It's a method of changing genetic material of organisms using biotechnological genetic engineering techniques. Organism can be animal or plant. Today I'm going to talk about animal genetic modification. It is important to know about the meat you often eat at home, in delis or in fast food restaurants. I'm going to cover three topics: history of genetic modification, the methods the scientists use to modify animal genes, and the benefits we get from it. The history. Behind me is a timeline of the history of animal genetic modification. It has started in 1976 with the foundation of Genentech, a pioneer company in the biotechnological field. Throughout these years, Genentech did big research on animal DNA. In 1996, Ian Wilmot with other scientists cloned the first mammal, Dolly the sheep. Cloning is a method of creating identical copy of another animal. It was a scientific breakthrough because it was the first, and scientists gave huge knowledge about animal DNA and animal cloning after this. In 1998, Japanese scientists created 8 identical cows, and in 2000, Australian scientists created the first cow. And in 2007, US Food and Drug Administration, FDA, announced that genetically modified animal meat is safe to eat. This was the history of animal genetic modification. Now I'm going to talk about the method the scientists use to modify animal genes. The first one is animal cloning. As I already said, it's a method of creating a genetic copy of an animal. This is the method that they use to create the clone of an animal. Scientists take one cell of an animal and they combine with another cell of a second animal, and then they stimulate it with an electricity. After some time, the embryo develops and we get a cloned animal. I've talked about the Dolly the sheep, the first mammal that was created. This is the method how they created the Dolly the sheep. The second method is gene manipulation. It's a method of forcing animals to produce unnatural things for them by injecting a DNA of another animal. For example, recently scientists used a pig as a producer of an insulin that can be used to treat diabetes. And the third method is growth hormone release drugs. Somatotropes are cells responsible for producing natural growth hormones in animals. According to colestate.edu, scientists inject drugs like RBGH to increase the sensitivity of production of somatotropes, and animals start to produce more hormones and they grow big. So I've talked about 3 methods of using genetic modification, and I've talked about history of animal genetic modification. Now let's talk about the benefits we get from animal genetic modification. The first, according to FDA.gov, it can increase the nutrition value of a meat or dairy product. For example, it can increase the quality of omega-3 fatty acids, which is very healthy for humans, that it can increase the working function of the brain. Also, animals can be used as a producer of drugs that can be beneficial for humans, as I gave an example of pig as a producer of an insulin that can be used for treatment for diabetes. And lastly, it can increase the size of animals, which is beneficial for companies as they have more meat to sell and they make more money. And it is beneficial for us consumers too, because we have more animals and the price goes down and we can buy them with a cheaper price. So I've covered 3 topics: history of animal genetic modification, the benefits you get from it, and the methods the scientists used. I hope this speech gave you some knowledge about animal genetic modification that you can use in the future to make a choice if you want to eat animal genetically modified food or no. My name is David. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. That was just short of 6 minutes.
It was 6.
What was that?
But it was like less than 5. Good.
I have 5 minutes and 57 seconds. I started it when you started, and I stopped it when you stopped. Okay, let's talk about David's. What happened with the PowerPoint?